Hi everyone, welcome to the first in a new series of videos that will use Microsoft Flight Simulator to explore different locations or landmarks around the world. We'll look at places that have been featured in iconic movies or have some other kind of cultural or historical significance. For this first video, we're going to take a look at Devil's Tower in Wyoming, USA, made famous by the classic 1977 movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind, directed by Steven Spielberg. This famous landmark was featured heavily in the movie and would eventually become the gigantic mothership's landing place and the first ever contact between humans and those rather cute ETs. Devil's Tower is located in the district of the Black Hills near Hewlett and Sundance in Crook County, northeastern Wyoming, above the Bellforce River. It rises 1,267 feet above the river, standing at 867 feet from summit to base. In the movie, after the main character's arrival at the landmark, they have to traverse it to get to the eventual UFO landing site. You see them climbing over what is known as the boulder field. This is on the opposite side of the mountain from where the landing strip is located. From there, they climb up and around the mountain and finally see what the military have prepared for ET's arrival. The landing strip is located under what's known as the window. This is an identifiable feature of the tower caused by millions of years of erosion that have resulted in large sections of the tower falling. In the next part of the tour, we're going to be getting really up close and personal with the tower and the surrounding areas. To get really close to the tower, there's nothing better than a helicopter. We'll be flying in the H-145 Airbus, the luxury model. Let's do this with some style. So, let's get out our maps and try to follow the route our characters took in the movie itself.
What are we doing?
Look, the only way we're gonna get back in there is to go across country.
No.
We gotta break through the fence.
Let's go.
All right, hold on.
We'll initially approach the tower following Wyoming Highway 24, also known as the Bear Lodge Highway. From there, we'll explore the surrounding areas, its geography, and some of the popular locations. And then finally, we'll end our journey with a flight through the Black Hills themselves. So let's pick up our journey again as we're following Wyoming Highway Route 24. So right now we're in 2D mode, or flat screen as it's sometimes called in the sim, but let's now jump into VR. I always find flying in VR, especially at very low altitudes like this, gives you a real feeling of the changes in terrain, something that's hard to appreciate when flying in 2D. That's especially helpful here while we're trying to follow the route our characters took in the movie. It's hard to pinpoint exactly where some of the locations were filmed, like this scene here for example, but I think we can assume it was somewhere in the area surrounding the tower. I think we can get an approximate idea from the distinguishing features of the tower itself, and then try to match those camera angles up as we're flying in VR. So we're still following alongside Highway 24 there, but I think we're going to leave that now and head straight towards the tower. You'll notice in the distance there as we approach the tower the striking red coloration in some of the rock surrounding the base of the tower. We'll talk about that in a bit more detail later on. This is the Bellforce River with its broad flat floodplains, and I think that right there is the Bellforce campground. There are many popular hiking trails surrounding the tower, and it's also a very popular destination for rock climbers. As we fly around, you'll see the boulder field again, and also, that's the Devil's Tower Visitor Center. So all of this flying around the tower made me wonder, is it possible to actually land on it? Here's how it went. Okay, completely overshot it. So let's come around again and give it another try. And I've overshot it again. Wow, this isn't easy. I think there's a saying that goes something like, any landing you can walk away from is a good one. Oh, okay. Well, it wasn't pretty, but I think we've shown it is possible. I think our co-pilot there is still in shock. So while we're up here, let's take in some of the sights and sounds from the top of the tower. As the day moves into the later afternoon, we're flying over some of the majestic pine forests that cover the surrounding hills. As we come around, we're flying over where the landing strip would have been in the movie. Although the strip itself was actually a large movie set built far away in an aircraft hangar in Alabama. The red building in the distance there that we're about to fly past is known as the Devil's Tower KOA, and it hosts a nightly outdoor showing of the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and they actually film parts of the movie where the KOA is now located. So let's circle back around again and take a closer look. So here again you will notice some of that striking red coloration in some of the surrounding rocks. These are known as the red beds and are a series of bluffs comprised of sedimentary rock containing ferric oxide. It's the ferric oxide which, when exposed to the air, that gives the rock here its striking red coloration. Many tourists visit the area to look at these rock formations and take one of the Red Bed Trails tours. So let's now take off from the base of the tower and view the entire area from a much higher altitude. For this final part of the tour, we're going to take off from Hewlett Municipal Airport. You see the tower in the background right there. And from here, we'll approach the tower one last time, and from there, we'll fly fast and low for a sunset flight through the Black Hills. As we head out from the airport, let's talk about some of the history surrounding the tower. It's America's first national monument and was proclaimed by President Theodore Roosevelt on September 24, 1906. Its name, however, is controversial. In 1875, a gold prospecting expedition recorded the name as Devil's Tower, writing that the natives called it the Bad God's Tower. But since so many native names for the tower reference a bear, plus native translation for Bear Lodge appeared on early maps of the region, it's likely the expedition simply mistranslated the landmark name. So now let's start our final descent into the Black Hills. And now let's circle back around to bring us in really low. It's moments like this when VR really does transport you to being in another place. It's hard to convey that sense of real immersion you get when flying low like this, especially on a 2D screen. But it really does give you a sense of presence, and it's an amazing way to explore areas such as this. And it's not just seeing the scenery fly past you on either side, it's also feeling completely immersed in the cockpit itself, and seeing the instruments that surround you, and everything feels very solid, and it actually feels like you are there, which unfortunately doesn't come across in a 2D video such as this. Well, I think it's starting to rain a bit, and it's getting late, so it's probably a good time to bring this flight to an end. I hope you've enjoyed this bit of virtual tourism, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If there's any other locations you'd like to see featured in future videos, please let me know that as well. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because it helps with the channel's visibility and just makes it easier for other people to find the channel. So let's end this journey with one final flyover of the tower. And the rest, as they say, is movie history.